All right, Bell Tire live here against the Waterloo Ravens. First period. Starting us out in this game against Waterloo, we are going to have Hazarowski, Dobbs, Markovich, Caitlin, and Mackenzie Flanagan. Here we go. Puck is down. Caitlin to Mackenzie. Up immediately into the Waterloo zone. Waterloo shifting that around. Trying to break it out. Tipped down, sliding out through neutral. Going into the zone here in Bell Tire. Markovich to chase. Markovich circling her own net. Up the half wall. Stepped in by Waterloo. Caitlin playing into the ground to Mackenzie. Mackenzie up to Dobbs. Dobbs gaining neutral and flipping it out. It's going to be an icing on Bell Tire. New line for Bell Tire coming out is going to be Martin and Morton. It looks like on Day, I apologize. On D, we've got Markovich. I'm sorry, there's all kinds of changes happening before that break. So we've got Flanagan's back out on D. Stretch pass going up. No icing. Dobbs and Markovich still out. Kazarowski and Markovich just went for a change. That's going to be an icing now on Waterloo. And waved off. Waterloo beat that race and dropping it up to their point. Driving it deep into the Bell Tire zone, back up top. Coming D to D. On the point, shot in. Rebound attempt, or tip attempt. Turned aside by Streeter. Picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Up the half wall. Looking for Orlick. Flanagan looking for Orlick and a stretch pass. Misses the mark, and we will now have an icing, which is going to hold the players still on the ice. So we've got Agbe out with Hewer, Orlick, and Caitlin and Mackenzie. 13:32 here in the first period. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down. Knocked down by Waterloo. And coming out up top to the blue line. Waterloo holds the line and keeps it in the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by Orlick. Orlick going wide into neutral. Martin stepping in on D. Waterloo up the wall. Defended by Mackenzie. Mackenzie moving it around. Finding Agbe on the wall. Up to Hewer. Good breakout by Bell Tire. Passed up to Orlick. Orlick drives it deep into the zone. Bell Tire goes for a line change. Waterloo's goalie playing it behind their own net. Up to the point, breakout through neutral. Cruciano, Carlson, Palucci on ice with Day and Martin. Waterloo down in the Bell Tire zone. Passing it behind the net. Day jumping in. And Cruciano passing it up the wall. Picked up by Waterloo at the point. D to D pass. Shot in, blocked and covered by Grund. Sorry, I think I said before that was Streeter. That was Grund on the save. 12:28 on the clock. Cruciano, Clemens, and Dobbs in for Bell Tire. Bowman and Morton on D. Morton. Looks like Bell Tire's going to have a penalty coming here. Waterloo coming in. Goes wide of the net. Waterloo dropping the pass. Waterloo's goalie went out on the delayed penalty call on Bell Tire. So with 12:09 on the clock, Bell Tire is going to go onto the penalty kill. On ice for Bell Tire is going to be Agbe, Hewer, Caitlin and Mackenzie Flanagan. Draw is back, picked up by Mackenzie, up the boards, collected by Waterloo at the point. B to D pass, tipping it in, slot. Waterloo to the corner, passing it back up top. And Agbe making a great play to keep that puck out of the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by Caitlin Flanagan on the wall. Trying to drive it deep into the Waterloo zone. Agbe gets it deep. Agbe, Hewer going for a change. Caitlin going for a change. Markovich out with Kozowski and Martin checked in on D. Martin's pass hit the ref. And a offsides is called on Waterloo. Taking the draw here. Markovich hits it out of the rink. We'll redo that. Puck is down. Waterloo with possession. Dropping it back in the neutral zone. Back into their own zone. Playing it forward, up through neutral. This is defended by Martin. Martin cutting off the pass. Able to break up the play. Picked up by Kozowski. Sent around. Markovich on the half wall. Battling. And Waterloo walking in. Turned aside by Grund. Behind the net is Waterloo. Martin. Up the wall goes Waterloo. Back down deep. Defended by Martin. Martin back in the corner. Martin playing from the ice. Morton driving the Waterloo back up top, and that puck's going to go out of the zone. Waterloo retreating. Bell Tire going for a change. And that puck coming back down deep into the Bell Tire zone. Up the wall, collected in by, picked out by Martin. And now we've got Dobbs on the hunt here. Dobbs in for Bell Tire with Colucci. That puck now going deep into the Bell Tire zone, collected by Waterloo. Waterloo back and forth. And that net's going to come off. Grund with a good save. 3 seconds remaining on the Bell Tire penalty kill. 10 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the period. On ice, we've got Orlick, Agbe, Flanagan, and Flanagan. Mackenzie Flanagan with the puck, sending it up the half wall, finding Agbe, looking for a stretch pass. And Cristiano can't quite make it down. 9:58 on the clock. Bell Tire back to even strength. On the draw is going to be Cristiano. Knocking it back to Caitlin Flanagan. Mackenzie going up top. Bell Tire looking for a stretch pass. Intercepted by Waterloo. Waterloo gains the zone. Defended by Mackenzie. Pass across into the slot. Waterloo going to the corner. Chased down by Caitlin. Up to the half wall. Collected in by Waterloo. Sent back down deep. Mackenzie sending it around the opposite way. Looking for Agbe on the wall. Agbe. With a big touch up to Orlick, who was waiting patiently at the blue line. Orlick chasing around the net. Back into neutral. Collected by Caitlin. Caitlin dropping to Mackenzie. Mackenzie back to Caitlin. Caitlin going rink wide. Looking for Orlick, who taps it in. Hewer jumps in. Cristiano Clemens on for Bell Tire. And on comes Day and Bowman. 9:03 on the clock. Bell Tire shot goes wide after the goalie put a pad on it and comes out to neutral. Clemens picks it up, taps to Day. Day going up to Hewer. Day now making a rush. Day dropping to Hewer. Hewer going back to Day. Day behind the net, out front. Picked up now, shot in. He's going to get blocked out front. And Waterloo's going to have a break here. Grund, Waterloo. Grund with a big save. Knocking the net off in the process, but gets her pad on that puck. Out for Bell Tire now. With that line change, we are going to have Dobbs. Markovic. Shot by Waterloo. Goes wide. Kaczorowski out. Dobbs. Markovic. Martin. And that puck's up top. Waterloo sending it over the top. Chased down by Martin. Martin tapping it up the glass. Or back the opposite way. Finding Morton. Morton sending it the other way. Waterloo catching. Keeping it in at the half wall. Stepped in with Dobbs. Dobbs battling in the corner with Morton. Back down. Waterloo coming out front. Puck is disrupted. And Waterloo coming back in. Played out. Now Kaczorowski and Markovic with a little bit of a break. Tapping it in. Going for a change. Waterloo collecting behind their own net. 7:40 on the clock. Cruciano making a big save. Big stop. Cruciano going into the slot. Trying to get a shot off. Deflected wide by Waterloo. Sent up the boards. And into the corner. That puck coming out. Waterloo now. Martin defending. Martin cutting the angle as they come by. Takes a player out in process. And she's going to get a roughing penalty. Oh boy, Martin in the box. Bell Tire is going to go back on a penalty kill here. Flanagan's out on D. Bellucci in with Agbe to kill this penalty. Knock it back. Flanagan rimming it up the boards. Hits a weird spot. Comes back in and stays in the zone. Waterloo able to hold possession. Flanagan. Now Bellucci with possession. Knocks it out. Exits the zone. Agbe chasing. Waterloo retreating into their own zone. Agbe on the hunt. Flanagan on D here. Agbe with a big stick, keeping that puck out of the zone. Agbe still on it and gets sent. And we're going to have a hooking penalty to go 4-on-4 on Waterloo. So 4-on-4 here for 29 seconds, and Bell Tire will go on the power play. 6 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock in the first period. Hewer to take the draw. Flanagan's and Orlick in with Hewer. Orlick with the puck, dropping it back to McKenzie. McKenzie's going to go across to Caitlin. Caitlin's going to take a shot in. That's going to get blocked out and make it out to neutral, where McKenzie regains possession, sends it back to Caitlin. Caitlin circling her own zone, chipping it up, finding Hewer. Waterloo able to get a stick on it, send it back into the zone. Waterloo in the slot, shot, blocked, and picked up by Hewer. Hewer bouncing it off the boards and coming up into neutral here. Now Caitlin. Caitlin through neutral, chipping it ahead. Gains the zone. They're going to go for a change. Hewer, Orlick off. Caitlin off. McKenzie still out. Dobbs in with Agbe. Agbe chasing. Day keeping it deep in the Waterloo zone. Waterloo now trying to make a breakout into neutral. Collected in. Waterloo gaining the zone. Shot is gloved by Grund to freeze play. 5:48. 33 seconds remaining in 4-on-4. Puck is down. Dobbs. And in the corner goes Waterloo. Day to step in and help. Day coming out with the puck behind her own net. Day chipping it up, looking for Agbe. Agbe now going across to Dobbs. Dobbs gaining the zone. Agbe. 14 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4. Agbe shot is going to be covered up by Waterloo's goalie to freeze play. So 9 seconds remaining in the Martin penalty. Markovic out with Cruciano, Caitlin, and McKenzie. Markovic on the draw. Waterloo one back. Waterloo behind their own net. Markovic being a menace behind the net. Kicking the puck around. 1 second on the Martin penalty. Martin back in the box here. Flanagan dropping it down to Martin. Martin rooming around to Martin. Up top, Flanagan. Flanagan dumping it back. Shot in. Shoulder over the net. Picked up by Caitlin. Caitlin dumping it down for Markovich. Markovich around to Martin. Martin going up the boards. Back down to Martin. Martin inside. Martin's passed across. Nobody home. Cleared out. Back to even strength. Offsides is going to be the call as Waterloo goes back to even strength. We're going to have a draw just outside Waterloo's zone. Bell Tire personnel is Bowman, Day, Clemens, Kazarowski, and Cruciano. All right, Waterloo in their zone, tipping it out into neutral, picked up by Day. Day, crossing center. Day, dumping it deep, picked up by Kazarowski. Off her stick, picked up by Waterloo. Waterloo trying to get it out. Saved in by Day. Waterloo back with possession through neutral. Step up by Bowman. And Waterloo sends it deep. This is going to be chased down by Day behind Bell Tire's net. Up the wall. Picked up by Waterloo at the point. Shot in, bouncing around. And Bowman with a good stick lift to keep that puck free. Shot over the net. And cleared out of the zone. And Waterloo with possession in neutral. Shifting back up into Bell Tire zone. Centering pass disrupted by Bell Tire. Waterloo back in neutral. Bell Tire applying pressure here. Waterloo coming up ice. Defended by Hewer. Hard into the corner. Bowman in that corner helping Hewer. Picked up by Waterloo. Waterloo trying to chip it out. And off the glass it goes. Up to Carlson, chased with Colucci. Now Waterloo on a 2-on-1 with Martin. Martin disrupting the play and clearing it out is Morton. Waterloo back in, covered up by Grund. Martin still out with Orlick, Dobbs, Agbe, and I believe Morton. That puck going into the corner. Chased down by Martin. Martin sending it around, looking for Agbe on the corner. Finds her. Goes up top looking for Orlick. Orlick now with a little bit of room. Orlick and Agbe down into the corner of Waterloo's zone. Waterloo's player's stick got stuck in the boards. Bell Tire looking to try and take advantage of the player with the missing stick. Dobbs trying to get a shot off from the point. That puck breaks free, and it's collected in by Martin. Martin turning up ice. Martin going deep, down into the corner of Waterloo zone. Circling the net, chased down, holding the puck, and Waterloo gains possession. Coming up through, chased down by Cruciano, and Mackenzie Flanagan now. Back on D, Mackenzie behind the net with Waterloo. Picked up and shipped ahead by Cruciano, gets intercepted. And now collected in by Kazarowski. Then up ice. Waterloo to retreat down, collecting it behind their own net. Waterloo trying to break out here, gets the chip out into neutral. Mackenzie Flanagan on D, chipping it across as Waterloo. Down in the corner, back up top to their point. Shot in, wide of the net. And picked up by Caitlin. Caitlin sends it around. Chipped out by Markovich. And Waterloo gains possession in neutral. Retreating in their own zone, sending it back up through neutral. Chipped out to center ice. Picked up by Kazarowski and sent deep. Cruciano on the hunt. Waterloo trying to get a breakout pass. Disrupted by Hewer. Hewer breaking into the Waterloo zone. 1 minute, 8 seconds remaining on the clock. Puck's out front. Can't quite get it home. Martin stepping in on D with Day. Clemens, that shot goes wide. And it's sent back down deep. Waterloo behind their own net. Waterloo off the grass. And that makes its way out to neutral. Picked up by Day. Day right in front of us. Day with a little bit of room. Day circling, shot on net, gets covered. And some pushing in front of the net. So with 40 seconds remaining here, we're going to have Hewer out with Caitlin and Mackenzie on D. And Clemens and Cruciano. Cruciano in the corner of Waterloo zone is taken to the ice. Picked up by Caitlin. Waterloo collecting in neutral. Waterloo chipping it into Bell Tire zone. Chased down by Mackenzie. Over to Caitlin. Up to Cruciano. Cruciano at the half wall. Caitlin trying to pick it free. Mackenzie stepping in to help. Chipping it back up the half wall. Sent back down by Waterloo. Picked up by Mackenzie. Mackenzie breaks free and is stopped at the dot by Waterloo as time expires to take us into the second period. We just had an ice cut, so we will not have an ice cut here. We'll have 15 more minutes of hockey and then do an ice cut. See if we can see the play Coach Mike is drawing up for the girls starting in the second period. How's that? Maybe intensity and Dan. All right, as we start the second period here, we're going to have Carlson, Dobbs, Bellucci, Martin, and Caitlin Flanagan. Waterloo making a quick run here, picking it up off the half wall, taking a shot. Stopped by Grun. All right, so taking this draw. Apologies for the divider here with the glass. Sent around by Martin to Flanagan. Flanagan trying to get that out. Picked up by Waterloo. Waterloo off the wall, up to the point. Shifting it back down. Picked up by Martin. And chipped around, finding Bellucci. Bellucci picking it up, going across, intercepted by Waterloo. Defended by Dobbs. And the net off its moorings, 14-27. Bell Tire going for a line change here. Oncoming Agbe, Orlick, Hewer, Mackenzie, and Morton. Hewer on the draw. Puck is down. Mackenzie in the corner, shifting it around, looking for Agbe on the wall. Agbe chipping it, or Waterloo able to get it back in. Chipping it back up. Orlick now with some room to work. Orlick coming across. She's got Audrey coming down the side. Agbe on the half wall, sending it back deep. Pick back up, send across. Agbe, shot. Hewer, shot. Just wide of the net goes Hewer. Down in the corner. Chipping back up to Flanagan. Mackenzie to Hewer. Hewer looking to get a shot. Taken down to the ice. Waterloo player backwards. Shot is covered up by the Waterloo goalie. 13:48 on the clock. That puck's down. What are we doing?
All right.
Waterloo coming out into neutral. This is going to be defended. Waterloo turning the corner and able to put one in on Bell Tire here. Put them up 1-0. All right, so Bell Tire is going to go down by 1 here. As we restart, we're going to have Cruciano, Markovic, Kazarowski, Day, chipping it up the boards, and Morton. Bowman. That puck off the back of a Waterloo player ends up in neutral. Kazarowski is going to send it deep, picked up by Waterloo. Waterloo going D to D, breaking out, up through neutral. Waterloo defended by Day. Waterloo down into the corner, circling the Bell Tire net. Going up top, picked up at the half wall, chipped back up to the top, sent across D to D. In on net, covered up by Grund. To freeze play, 12:57 on the clock. Bell Tire's line change coming in. We're going to have Caitlin Flanagan, Martin, Dobbs, Cruciano, and Clemens. Dobbs on the draw. Puck is down. Dobbs on that back to the corner. Flanagan sending it around. Clemens catching. And Waterloo chips it back in. Picked up by Martin. Martin looking. Martin off the wall. Finding Dobbs. Dobbs going, sending it deep. Behind the net. Waterloo's goalie plays it to the corner. Waterloo trying to catch it. Martin able to keep that in the zone momentarily. Martin chipping it back ahead. Waterloo down in their own zone. And that's going to go down into the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan sending it up to Clemens. Rolls past, and Waterloo picking it up in neutral. Chased by Cruciano. Sent wide. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin going off the boards, looking for Clemens. Clemens chipped into Cruciano. Cruciano unable to make the pass over to Cure. Now Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan moving it to Martin. Martin sending it across. Chipping in is Cruciano. Chased by Hewer, and that's going to get covered up by Waterloo's goalie. So Carlson, Hewer on ice, Morton and Mackenzie Flanagan. Hewer on the draw. Puck is down, and that's Palucci out there as well. This is defended here. Waterloo chipping it in. Mackenzie chipping it back out. Up top, D to D. Down into the corner. Waterloo behind the Bell Tire net is Mackenzie. Hewer stepping in to help. Waterloo coming out, going up top. Waterloo walking, sending it across. Shot in. Wide of the net. Goes into the half wall. Picked up by Waterloo. Bell Tire trying to clear. Comes out. Carlson gaining the red line. Going into Waterloo zone. Carlson on the half wall here. And that puck makes its way around. Picked up by Palucci. Palucci circling in neutral. Palucci gaining the zone. Palucci dropping it off. Shot is going to be covered up by the, oh my goodness, over top of the net. Comes out of the zone, chased down by Morton. Morton going back up to Cruciano. Cruciano looking to make a quick pass to Agbe. Tips it up in the air. That's going to go down. It's going to be enough for an icing, but Agbe's going to chase, get a drop pass. Dobbs with a shot. What a great pass by Agbe to Dobbs. Dobbs getting the shot off as the Waterloo goalie covers up. We're going to have Agbe out with Cruciano, Caitlin and Mackenzie on D. And Orlick. That puck sent down by McKenzie. Picked up by Agbe. Cruciano looking for a quick shot. Waterloo in the corner. Agbe to chase here on the half wall. Agbe gets her stick on it, keeps it deep. Sends it around to Orlick. Orlick rolls past her, goes behind the net. Up on the half wall. Flanagan getting a stick on it, getting it back down deep. Orlick picking it up, going up top to Cruciano. Flanagan. Flanagan's shot. We're going to have a penalty here. So that puck is a good puck. It's going to be a penalty on Waterloo, delayed. Grun's trying to make her way to the bench, trying to get a sixth skater out. Flanagan's going to dump it deep, and that should be a whistle. We're going to have a cross check. So Bell Tire's power play is going to come on. And Bell Tire power play needs to bury one here to even this game up. 9:48 in the second. On ice is going to be Hewer, Palucci, Agbe, Caitlin, Flanagan, and Martin. Hewer on the draw. Puck is down. Palucci trying to drop it back. Couldn't get enough on it, and that's going to get shipped out by Waterloo. Chased down by Martin. Martin behind her own net. Martin coming up ice. Finding Hewer. Hewer in neutral. Hewer is going to gain the zone, and Bell Tire is going to look to set up. Hewer dropping it deep to Palucci. Palucci sending it back up the wall. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan walking the line. Flanagan over to Hewer. Hewer driving in. Back to Flanagan. Flanagan going down to Martin. Martin, quick shot, turned in, and turned aside by Waterloo, just out of reach of Flanagan. Caitlin's going to chase down. Caitlin's turning in her own zone. Turning up ice. Flipping it up to Palucci. That's going to go in. Be tipped by Palucci. Chased down by Waterloo. Waterloo's going to hit up ice, so it's going to miss and go down the end of the ice. This is going to be chased down by Waterloo. Flanagan coming in to defend. Kicked out. Palucci getting a stick on it. Waterloo's going to send it back in. Going to be collected in by Martin in the corner. Martin looking up ice. Martin circling, going behind her own net. Martin switching directions, coming back up ice. Sending it up, finding Palucci. Palucci chipping it ahead to Agbe. Agbe gaining the zone. Agbe on the wall, half wall. Smothered by Waterloo. Picked up by Martin. Martin walking the line. Going across to Flanagan. Flanagan going down, looking for Markovich. Markovich finds an edge and goes into the boards. That's flipped out by Waterloo as Mackenzie Flanagan chases down, going over the rink wide to Martin. Martin collecting the puck. Going up glass, finding Dobbs. Dobbs going in. Dobbs sending it deep behind the net. Markovich collecting it at the half wall. Sent back out by Waterloo. 2 seconds remaining in the power play. Collected by Martin. 7:46 on the clock. Sent ahead. And sent back deep by Waterloo. Picked up by Martin. Martin trying to clear the puck. Going out to neutral. Collected by Waterloo. Waterloo in their own zone. Chase down. That puck lands down. Picked up by Martin. Martin spinning. Getting it up the boards. Martin battling with Orlick here right at mid-ice. And Dobbs comes out with it. Dobbs' pass gets deflected by Waterloo. And a shot on. Goes wide of the net. Martin sending it up ice. Going up against the glass is Orlick. Waterloo circling in neutral. Waterloo into the corner. Going behind Bell Tire's net. Going up top. Mishandled puck gets sent back down deep. Waterloo behind the Bell Tire net. Chased down by Flanagan. Defended off by Grun. Waterloo is circling. And picked up. Sent out into neutral. Waterloo intercepts. Chipped back in. Picked up by McKenzie. McKenzie sends it wide. And Waterloo right on the blue line there. Collects the puck. Defended by Flanagan. Gets chipped in. This is going to be picked up by Kazarovski. Kazarovski circling. Going back the opposite way. Looking for her winger on the boards. Intercepted by Waterloo. Waterloo circling the Bell Tire net. 6:11 on the clock. Up top. Picked up by Kazarowski. Sent ahead. Hits Clemens' skate. Now Cruciano. Cruciano gaining the zone. Cruciano at the half wall. Waterloo able to clear that puck out of the zone. And Day and Bowman check in on D for Bell Tire. Cruciano, and Bellucci out for Bell Tire. That puck deep, chased down by Day. Day up the half wall, trying to find Cruciano. Cruciano battling in with, and that puck up to the top, sent back in by Waterloo. Waterloo center pass intercepted by Bellucci. Bellucci sending it up to neutral. Waterloo sending it back deep. Picked up by Bowman behind her net. Chased by Waterloo. Day sending it around, looking for Agben. Chipped off the wall, goes Bell Tire. Here goes Bellucci. Bellucci in the zone. Cruciano going with her. Cruciano in the corner. Cruciano coming out with the puck behind the net. Sending it up top, looking for Day, who is sneaking in from behind. And Caitlin Flanagan now gains the zone. Flanagan, shot, is going to go off the mask of Waterloo and come out to neutral. Flanagan chips it up ahead. Glove down by Waterloo as they gain the zone. Chip back, slot shot over top of the net. And picked up by Day. Day moving it ahead. Now we've got a 2-on-2 here. It looks like Dobbs and Orlick. Dobbs hitting the brakes in the corner. Dobbs coming back out with it. Dobbs circling behind the Waterloo net. Sending it out front, and the puck's going to get covered up by Waterloo's goalie. 4 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. So on ice is going to be Carlson, Caitlin and McKenzie, Dobbs, and Orlick. Waterloo behind their own net, sending it up the half wall, collecting it in, going out through neutral, chased down by Carlson. Flanagan, slot shot is almost gloved down by Waterloo. Bell Tire comes up with it. Good exit of their zone, chipped ahead by Orlick. Waterloo in the corner, chased by Hewer. Got Morton stepping in for Bell Tire. Waterloo coming out to neutral. Waterloo making a run past and a good save by Grun. Waterloo circles, finds an open skater on the half wall, and McKenzie steps in to help. Hewer trying to ship that puck out. Up top it goes. Waterloo send it back in. And Hewer in a stick battle. Now we've got a one-on-one, and Markovich all over Waterloo. Coming in, Waterloo breaking out. Waterloo gains the zone. Shot in is going to be covered up by Grun with 3 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. Bell Tire going for a line change. Martin and Day stepping in with Kazarowski, Markovich, and somebody at center. Who is it? Cruciano at center. Puck up the boards, picked up, it looks like by Day. And at center ice here, Cruciano gets a stick on it. Is creating havoc. Kazarowski makes it around. Kazarowski by herself takes a shot and goes wide. Might have hit a post. Waterloo behind their own net. Waterloo's going to go rink wide, come out through neutral, and send it deep. This is going to be a foot race with Martin. Martin intercepts, sends it up, gets a chip in by Cruciano. Cruciano and Dobbs down in the corner. Dobbs getting hit hard in the boards there, and there's going to be a penalty on a hold. And there's all kinds of bodies on the ice. We're just going to blow the whistle. We're going to get a... Looks like we might have offsetting penalties here. We'll see. I do believe we have offsetting. So we'll be 5-on-5. Dobbs going to the box, 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Agbe, Hewer, Palucci, Flanagan and Flanagan here on D. Draw in the Waterloo zone. Puck is down, one back. I'm not sure what the penalty is, but we're going to go to a Bell Tire power play now. So Bell Tire on the power play is going to bring out Hewer, Agbe, Palucci, Caitlin, and Martin. 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the power play here. Puck is down. Martin with the puck. Sending it deep, finding Agbe behind the net. Agbe chipping back to Hewer. Hewer palming the puck down. Up to Flanagan. Back to Hewer. Bell Tire setting it up. Down to Palucci. Palucci going up to Hewer. Hewer across to Flanagan. Flanagan shot in. He's going to go off Martin, sending it around to Palucci. Palucci back up to Hewer. Hewer back up top to Flanagan. Flanagan shot in. He's going to hit a body out front and get cleared by Waterloo. Caitlin to chase down in her own zone. Chased by Waterloo. Going ahead. Chipping out. Palucci in stride. Palucci going down. Hewer on the boards. Hewer up top to Flanagan. Flanagan back to Hewer. Hewer now walking in. Shot is blockered aside. Martin in the backside here. Martin battling. Shot by Agbe is right out front. And Martin's going to put it into the net with bodies all over the place. You've got Agbe and Martin just battling down. And they're going to come out and put one on the board. 1-1 is the score. Bell Tire able to capitalize on that power play. So the shot from Flanagan, Agbe and Martin, animals in the crease. And we will restart here with 1 minute and 13 seconds remaining. Waterloo with the puck in their own zone. Waterloo sending it up. Mackenzie Flanagan chasing it down. Flanagan circling in her own zone. Looking for a little bit of room with a very nice pass up to Carlson. Carlson gaining his own. Shot wide of the net. Flanagan keeping it deep. That puck out front. Carlson unable to find it. Waterloo shifts it back out. Goes out through neutral. Defended and sent back up ice. Gloved down by Carlson. Chipped in. We're going to have a hand pass. That'll be a hand pass on Bell Tire. Draw is going to come right in front of us. So we're going to have Martin and Flanagan out here with Hewer, Kazarowski, and Markovich. Puck is down. And Hewer battling, keeping it on the point here. In the hunt, Kazarowski. And Waterloo swings it wide. 24 seconds remaining here. Kazarowski with the puck, sending it up to Hewer, off the board. Hewer able to keep it going in. This is going to go towards the net. Hewer able to get her stick on it and keep it deep. Hewer in a battle. You can't quite see it, but a big battle happening in that corner. And the refs are going to blow the whistle to freeze play. 6 seconds remaining here. We're going to have a draw in the zone. And that draw looked like Agbe was trying to shoot it right at the net. She had a couple of crashers getting ready to happen. That'll be the end of this second period. 1-1 going into the third. All right, we're back here for period 3 in this tied game, Beltire and Waterloo. To start us out, we're going to have Dobbs, Markovich out with maybe Kazarovsky, Martin, and Flanagan. Third period, here we go. Waterloo, the puck. Waterloo in neutral, tipping it up. Dobbs getting a stick on it. Tipped into the Beltire zone momentarily. Off the glass goes Flanagan. Waterloo collecting. Flanagan tipping it to the corner. Flanagan sending it around. Looking for Markovich in the corner on the half wall. Markovich clears. Up in the neutral. Tipped back in by Waterloo. Picked up by Martin. Martin going up ice. Finding Markovich or tipping it in. And Beltire goes for a line change. Waterloo coming up through neutral. Hewer to chase. Sent down by Martin. And Orlick. We're going to have a slashing call on Hewer, which is going to put Beltire on the penalty kill. So we're going to have Orlick, Agbe, and the Flanagans on to start the penalty kill. 14 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. McKenzie shifting it around, finding Agbe on the wall. Agbe trying to chip it out. Flanagan sending it the other way. Flanagan sending it deep. So Waterloo's goalie will play that, and Waterloo will collect behind the net, where Orlick will chase. Waterloo going back behind their net. Sending it up the half wall. Waterloo circling in their own zone. Up to neutral. Tipping it ahead. Chased by Agbe. Now picked up by McKenzie. McKenzie sends it back deep. Waterloo on a change. Intercepts the pass. Waterloo circling in their own zone. Behind you. Orlick. Keeping pressure on. Palucci on with Orlick. Flanagan. Waterloo behind their own net. Orlick chasing. Waterloo wide up through neutral. And Caitlin gets a stick on it. Palucci now is going to send it up the boards. And that rolling puck settled down by Waterloo. Waterloo into the slot. Shot goes wide of the net. Down into the corner. Back up top. Shot in. Over the net. Down into the corner. Picked up. Shifted ahead by Dobbs. It's going to go the length. And Waterloo's goalie is going to calm it down. Martin in with McKenzie. Dobbs. And Palucci, I believe. Dobbs with a big stick to stop that rush. Waterloo circling back. Waterloo through neutral. Defended by Martin. Martin gets a stick on it. Sent around. Slipped out and goes out to neutral. Waterloo in their own zone. 13 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. Waterloo up through neutral. Waterloo trying to set something up. Beltire applying pressure. Sent down deep behind this ref. And Waterloo's going to go to the slot. Put Beltire down by 1. We got a 1-2 game. Clemens out on the ice with Cruciano, Markovich, Martin, and it's like maybe Morton. That puck is down. Waterloo retreating in their own zone. Waterloo coming back up, off the board. Stepped up by Martin. Picked up by Cruciano. Cruciano now with a little bit of room. Cruciano on the slot. Shot gets blocked. And Waterloo regains possession. Going up through neutral. Off the wall. Sent down hard behind the net. Chased down by Morton. Morton sends it around the half wall. Picked up by Waterloo. Cruciano getting a stick on it. Clearing that out. Clemens chasing. Rink wide. Picked up by Carlson. Waterloo gaining the zone. And we're going to have a trip on Cruciano. That puck's going to come down Bell Tire looking to get a stick on it to freeze play. Martin into the corner. Puck comes out and is picked up to freeze play. Bell Tire going back on a penalty kill on the trip. 11 minutes, 17 seconds remaining in the period. Flanagan's out with Dobbs and Agnew. Dobbs on the draw. Puck is down. Flanagan sending it around. Picked up by Agbe, sent up the wall, didn't quite make it out. And that puck going back and forth, blocked by Dobbs. Up to the half wall. Waterloo dumping it back to their point. Waterloo to the half wall, down into the corner. Up the wall. Waterloo pass goes in. They're able to save it in. Dobbs gets a stick on it, and that is cleared out by Flanagan as it goes the length of the ice. Minute 27 on the penalty kill for Bell Tire. Markovich in. Kazarowski. Day. Flanagan. Waterloo down into the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by McKenzie. McKenzie sending it up the wall. Picked up by Markovich. Markovich getting it off and out to neutral. Rigged wide by Waterloo. Waterloo sends it back in. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin sending it around the boards. And out it goes into the Waterloo zone. So we've got Martin and Day out with Palucci and that puck is in the crease, covered up finally by Grunt. Have a Bell Tire line change here. And the Flanagan's checked back in on D with Fewer and Palucci. Puck picked up, sent up the wall, and cleared up ice. 30 seconds remaining here in the penalty kill for Bell Tire. Fewer, Palucci, Flanagan's. Waterloo hanging out, trying to catch an errant pass. Picked up, and that's going to be picked up by Flanagan. Sent down the length, collected by Waterloo, and sent back up ice. Fewer is getting it down deep into the Waterloo. That's going to kill this penalty. Bell Tire is going to go back to even strength here. Waterloo looking to catch something open here, and that pass is disrupted by Agbe. Agbe coming in. Agbe going to the net, turned aside by the Waterloo goalie. And that pass picked up by Flanagan, sent in on net. Waterloo deep in their zone, chased by Agbe. Agbe in the corner. Waterloo comes up with it, up the half wall. And that shot goes deflected up into the air and caught by Waterloo's goalie. We're going to have a draw. Kazarowski out there with, Cruciano out with Orlick. That's dropped back to McKenzie. She takes a shot, and that's gloved by Waterloo's goalie. So you got Cruciano out with Orlick, Agbe, and Flanagan's. Waterloo behind their own net, sending it to the corner. 8:35 on the clock. Caitlin trying to keep it in. Battling. Orlick drops it down to Agbe. Agbe centering pass. Goes wide of the net. Chipped back looking for McKenzie. Waterloo on the move up through neutral. Centering pass. Nobody home. Agbe now with room. Agbe trying to chip it ahead. Waterloo catching a pass here in neutral. And disrupted by Carlson. Carlson overskates the puck. Picked up by Waterloo. Pestered by Dobbs. Goes up. Catches Day, who sends it up to Dobbs. Dobbs takes a shot. Gloved by Waterloo's goalie. 7:46 on the clock. Bowman, Day, Carlson, Dobbs, Lemons. Puck is down. Waterloo with possession, sending it up, going up to neutral. Play disrupted, sent back in. Dobbs chasing. Waterloo intercepted by Bowman. Centering pass, finding Dobbs. Dobbs now trying to get a break. Going towards the net. Waterloo regained possession. Waterloo breaking out. Gains the neutral zone. Disrupted. Picked up by Carlson. Carlson gaining his own. Shot. Turned aside. Looking for a pad pass. And Waterloo able to gain possession. Send it deep. Bowman. Going up the wall. Waterloo down in the corner. Hewer stepping in to help. Sent out front by Waterloo. Waterloo walking. Waterloo shot in, bouncing around. Goes wide of the net. Waterloo in the corner. Spinning back in. Chased down by Hewer. Picked up and sent wide off a skate. And intercepted by Waterloo. Waterloo sends it back into the zone. Bowman. Picked up here by Cruciano. Cruciano with a little bit of room to work. Cruciano gaining his own. Martin and Morton check back in here on D. Martin coming down to grab this puck, and that's going to be an icing. All right, Cruciano, Bellucci, Cruciano, Martin, and Morton. 6:13 left in the game. Bellucci, puck. That's picked up by Morton. Morton sending it back in. That's deflected out. Waterloo now on a break. Martin to defend. Martin going into the corner. Gets a stick on it. Flipped up. Picked up by Cruciano. On the half wall, Cruciano driving and sent back down deep. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin coming out. Martin trying to send the puck up, intercepted by Waterloo. Out front, missed, and now it's cleared. Cruciano gets disrupted there. Picked up by Morton. Now Waterloo with the puck. Waterloo out front. Deflected. And up top they go. Waterloo shot in. Tip shot is blocked by and carried up ice. Bellucci's just going to send it in and go for a change. So Beltire out is Agbe, Dobbs, Orlick, Martin, and Mackenzie Flanagan. Sent down deep into the Beltire zone. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin going up ice, looking for Orlick. Orlick with a breakout pass to Dobbs. Dobbs going across ice, trying to find Agbe. Agbe hitting the corner. Collected in by Dobbs. Dobbs sends it up, and the ref disrupts the pass back to Mackenzie. And Waterloo gains the zone, but they're going to be offsides. Four minutes, 29 seconds remaining. Draw happening right in front of us. Hewer on the draw. Flanagan's in. Markovich. Azarowski. Puck is down. Caitlin to Mackenzie. Mackenzie skating up over half ice. Sends it in on net. Over top. And kicked back out. Possessed by Waterloo. Waterloo going in. Gains his zone. Flanagan chasing. And Waterloo loses an edge as they go hard forward. Shot by Waterloo. Waterloo in the corner. And a battle happening. Hewer jumping in to help. Waterloo behind the net. Up top is Waterloo. Waterloo misses their pass. Keeps it in. Dumps it deep. Caitlin chasing around the net. shot in by Waterloo. It's disrupted out front. Picked up by Caitlin. Chipped out by Kazarowski. Waterloo holds the line. Sends it back down deep. Waterloo keeping it behind the bell tire net. Flanagan jumping in. Out front is McKenzie. McKenzie's going to try and chip it out and finally gets that puck out into neutral. And now it's chipped back in by Waterloo behind the bell tire net. McKenzie with the puck. Trying to send it up ice and it deflects off of a bell tire skater. Goes up. Palucci with room. Now Palucci and Agbe. Palucci to Agbe. Agbe trying to turn the corner. Waterloo able to fend that off and flips it out into their own bench. 2 minutes, 56 seconds on the clock. Horlick in with Agbe, Palucci, Martin, and Day. Puck is down. One back to Day. Day sends it in on net. Covered up by Waterloo's goalie. The draw happening inside the Waterloo zone. One back, Day. Day at the point. Day getting it, trying to get it deep. Waterloo able to clear. Martin coming in. Martin able to sweep it up top. Martin collecting the puck. Martin going up ice. Catches Palucci. Palucci on the half wall. Palucci trying to find somewhere to go with it. Able to get a centering pass. Now Waterloo collects. Waterloo coming out to neutral. 2:22 on the clock. Waterloo sends it in deep. It's going to rim around the bell tire zone, come wide, and Martin looking for Orlick. That's going to go into the Waterloo zone. Waterloo coming up back through neutral. Day collecting the puck. Day sending it back in. Cruciano, Kazarowski out with Mackenzie Flanagan and Day. Day in neutral, loses an edge, and Waterloo turns. Coming in, shot blocked by Grun. And I think that is going to be a goal for Waterloo to put them up 3-1. Minute and 46 seconds remaining in the game. Flanagan out with Cruciano, Kazarowski, and Dobbs. Puck is down. Waterloo in neutral, sending it down deep into the bell tire zone. Mackenzie Flanagan in the corner. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Waterloo sending it back deep behind the bell tire net. Picked up by Flanagan. Trying to chip it up the boards, looking for Dobbs. Off the wall. Goes back deep by Waterloo. Mackenzie sending it up, getting it chipped out to neutral. Picked up by Waterloo. Waterloo sending it back down deep. This is going to be chased down by Martin. Martin sending it up, looking for Cruciano. And that ends up getting covered by Grun. One minute remaining on the clock. Puck is down, kicked out by Waterloo, sent deep. Morton down on D, sending it back up the wall. Chased by Cruciano. Picked up and a trip happened right there, not seen. Lemons coming hard into the boards here. And down deep, Carlson's chasing Waterloo, retreating into their own zone. Picked up by Clemens. Clemens sending it back down deep. Cruciano in the corner. Trying to get it free. 28 seconds remaining. And on the draw. Going straight for the net. Martin's going to jump in on the corner, sending it back out front. Picked up by Carlson. And the net is off. .21 seconds remaining. Carlson on the draw. Carlson trying to win it back. Chipped down by Martin. Martin sending it in on net. That takes out a Waterloo player and goes to the corner. Waterloo sending it around their own net. Trying to go long. Martin intercepting. Martin chipping it up the boards. Finding Carlson. And that'll do as time expires for Bell Tire.